Hello guys, welcome to Study IQ. I'm Safir, and in this session, we are going to discuss the concepts of demand and supply. Okay, so a very important concept, and I have seen last year prelims, they have asked question related to this one, related to demand. So here I'll explain what is demand, what is supply, and then we will discuss what are the determinants of demand, what are the determinants of supply, and what decides the demand, what decides the supply. And then we will also look into an equilibrium, how the equilibrium is created based on demand supply, and how the prices in the market are fixed on the basis of demand supply. And at the same time, we will also see what will happen if there is a change in demand and what will happen if there is a change in supply. The change in demand can be either increase in demand and it can be decrease in demand. Same way, change in supply could be either increase in supply, that means the productions will increase, or it could be decrease in supply. So how is it going to affect the price, and how is it going to affect the market, and how is it going to affect the monetary policy, and how is it going to affect inflation and everything we will discuss. So let's start with the basic concept of demand and supply. So let's understand what is demand. Okay, so demand is actually the quantity of commodity that an individual is willing to buy and able to buy at a particular price. So it's a quantity of commodity. Let's say you have a demand on something. What does that mean? You are willing to buy. So first thing, or if you want, I can write the definition: quantity of commodity. An individual, let me write it as A, is willing and able to buy, not at any price, at a particular price, at a particular price. So here, what are the key points? There should be a commodity, obviously that will be there, and the individual must be willing. So this is very important. I must be willing to buy and I must be able to buy. What do you mean by able to buy? I should have the purchasing power. I should have money to buy. If I don't have money to buy, my willingness won't create demand in the market. Suppose I want to buy an aeroplane. Now, will that create demand in the market? No, it won't create demand in the market. It's just my wish. I am willing to buy, but that won't create demand in the market because I'm not able to buy an aeroplane, right? So it won't create demand in the market. If it's not going to create demand in the market, nobody is going to supply also. It won't create supply. So that is of no point. That is just a wish to buy an aeroplane. In case of me, in case of Ambani, or in case of Ratan Tata or people like that, then it's okay. That will create demand in the market because they are willing and they are able to buy. Now, even if you take a poor person, a beggar, he wished to have food, right? So he want to have food. He's willing to have food, but if he don't have money to pay for the food, will that create demand in the market? No. That means nobody is going to supply food for him. So his wish to his willingness to have food is just a wish. It is not going to create demand. So nobody is going to produce for him. Nobody is going to supply for him. So you need to understand it very clearly that it's the quantity of commodity that an individual is willing and able to buy at a particular price. So if you want, you can draw a graph also. It should be a downward sloping curve. Whenever you draw a demand curve, it should be a downward sloping. So it's like this. You will be going for quantity demanded on the x-axis and the price on the y-axis. Okay. So here, this is how you will go for it. And let's say let's see the prices. Maybe, yeah. It's like this, guys. It's always, I'll just go for a downward sloping curve. So you can easily understand from this. See, let's take 2 points. Okay. Now you can actually understand what is this demand curve is all about. Now here you can see when the price is increasing, what will happen? The quantity demanded is decreasing. So there is like I mark it as 30 and this is 40. So at 40, let me mark it as 2 kg. And let me mark it as 3 kg. I'm randomly taking some numbers, guys. So don't look into that gap and that numbers, it may not match. I just want to tell increase decrease story. So price have increased from 30 to 40. What has happened? The demand have come down from 3 kg to 2 kg. So when the price increase, the demand will come down, right? Or price decrease, the demand will increase. So here at 40, what is the demand? 2 kg. That 40, if it is coming to 30, what is the demand? 3 kg. So what you need to understand is, if the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. If the price decreases, the quantity demanded will increase. So there is an inverse relation between both. Okay, so this inverse relation is the law of demand. So what is the law of demand? Okay, so this is actually the law of demand. So let me talk about law of demand. So what is actually law of demand? It states that the quantity demanded of a commodity, so quantity demanded of a commodity increases with fall in prices. So when the price fall, QD increase. Similarly, when the price goes higher, QD will decrease. That means the demand will come down. Other things being constant. That means in the definition in the law, it is actually used ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus means other things should remain constant. So the law of demand states that there is an inverse relation between quantity demanded and price of a commodity, ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus means other things being constant, right? So other things we will discuss. That is a common assumption. What are the other things which can determine demand and supply? We will be discussing that later. But now we will keep other things as constant. If the relation between price and demand is what we are looking for, then this is inversely proportional. If price increase, quantity demanded decrease. There may be situations, there can be a different scenario will come based on other aspects. That is why here I have made it very clear, other things being constant. There is no change in the other things. Only change will be in the price and quantity demanded. So now here itself, let's look into, I hope law of demand is very clear. It is just inverse proportionality. That's it. Price increase, quantity demanded decrease. Price decrease, quantity demanded increase. That is a reverse relation. Let's look into the determinant of demand. This is a question which was asked. Determinants of demand. So the first and the most important one, as we have discussed, that is the price. Price, okay? So we don't want to discuss too much about this. Price increases, quantity demanded decrease. Price decreases, quantity demanded will increase. So that's the first and the most important determinant of demand. And what does next one? Income of the consumer, okay? Income, how will you write that? In the previous session, I've told you why. Why not I? I is used for investment, right? So we will be using why because it is yearly income. So income of consumer. Now you are the consumer. Now your income increased. So what will happen? Your demand will increase. Why? Your purchasing power will increase. Your ability to buy will increase. So if the income is increasing, the demand will increase. If the income decreasing, demand will decrease. Okay, so income is also having very important relation with demand, and there is a direct relation. Price and demand, indirect, I mean inverse relation. Here, directly proportional. Income increase, demand increase. Income decrease, demand decrease. Okay, so third one, price of relative goods. Guys, whenever we talk about relative goods, there are two types of goods. There are substitute goods and complementary goods. Okay. Substitute goods and complementary. Substitute means if we don't want to use this, we can use the alternative. Complementary means we need to use both. Like if we need to use car, we need petrol. So petrol and car complementary. We need to use both at the same time. In case of substitute goods, we can say tea and coffee. If you don't want to use coffee, we can use tea, or alternately we can change. So that is the difference between substitute and complementary. Now what will happen in case of substitute good? Suppose let's take tea and coffee. Now price of tea increased. What will happen with price of coffee? Okay, forget about price of coffee. Let's talk about demand. Here we are talking about demand and price, right? So price of tea increased. Now you will not consume tea because price is increased. So you will shift to coffee. So when you shift to coffee, demand of coffee will increase. Okay, so you can see here, price increased of one item, demand of other item increased. That's what I've told before. Okay, so here you can see it is like directly related. but this is of a different item. It is not of the same item. If price increase of tea, if it lead to demand increase of tea, then that is directly proportional. That will not happen anyway. So tea, the price increased. What will happen is quantity demanded of coffee will increase. So price of tea increased, quantity demanded of other substitute good will increase. So we start demanding more of coffee. We start drinking more of coffee by stopping tea as the price of tea have increased. Very clear, right? Similarly, if coffee price is increasing, we will shift to tea. So the demand of tea will increase. So this is very clear. Now, what about car and petrol? Price of petrol increased. Price of petrol increased. What will happen? Demand of petrol car will increase or decrease? Demand of petrol car will come down. So quantity demanded of petrol car will come down. Because price of petrol have increased, now using a petrol car becomes more expensive for you. So you will try to shift to a diesel car. So demand for petrol car will come down and the demand for diesel car may go up. It is not necessary demand for diesel car will go up. It can go up, but demand for petrol car will definitely come down. Okay, so I hope this is clear with respect to relative goods, substitute good, and complementary good. If you want, I can explain it once more. One, tea prices increased. We stop consuming tea. We shift to coffee. So the demand for coffee will increase. Petrol prices increased. So now driving a petrol car will become expensive. So you will stop buying petrol car. The demand for petrol car will come down. Simple, right? Now, and the most important other determinant of demand is taste and preferences of the consumer. It doesn't matter whatever be the price. If I like a particular item, I'll buy that item. Or if I like coffee, it doesn't matter whatever price increase or whatever it is. If it is my preference, I'll buy that. So most important determinant of demand is, which is very subjective also, taste and preference of the consumer. Okay, so if it is like favorable, then the price will increase. If it is not favorable, the price will actually decrease, or the demand will increase, demand will decrease. Now guys, there are many other things also which can affect demand and which can be the determinant of demand. How about the weather? It can affect the demand supply, right? So you can see there are certain items which have more demand in summer, and there are certain items which have more demand in winter. So you can see ice creams are more sold in summer, right? Woolen clothes are more sold in winter. So demand for certain items have connection with the weather. So weather have a huge role to play with demand and supply. Expectation of price changes in future. How about that? If I believe that, let's say, now what I'm saying is my expectation on price changes in future. I believe that the gold price is going to increase after 3 months. Gold price is going to increase. That's my expectation. So what will happen now? Demand for gold will increase now. Why? Because in future, the price is going to be high. And I might have some functions, marriage of my daughter, something like that. So anyway, I want to buy gold. So rather than waiting for the increase in price after 3 months, I know after 3 months, the price is going to increase. Better to buy now. So the demand for gold will increase now. Why? Because that is the expectations of price change. What if I'm expecting the price will come down? Then the demand will come down now, because the price is going to come down in future. So I'll buy in future. Okay. So this is also very important. Now you can see the determinant. If they are giving you in the option, you can actually understand taste and preference. You should definitely pick for that one. Guys, if you see something subjective, you should always pick as the answer. Nobody can tell that is wrong. Taste and preference, climate, the weather, it will definitely affect. Expectations, these are subjective. You should definitely pick. Nobody can tell that is wrong. Something which is subjective, you should definitely go for it. Okay. Now, in the same way, we will look for supply. So, like demands are created by individuals, supply is created by the firms. Okay, so it is a quantity of commodity which is offered for sale by a firm at a particular price. Quantity of commodity which are offered for sale by a firm at a particular price. Before, quantity of commodity, an individual willing and able to buy. Here it is sell. Here it is firm. There it is individual. at a particular price, and quantity of commodity, it is the same. The difference is buy, there, individual. Here, sell, firm. And individual must be willing and able to. That is also there. So I hope this definition is very simple. Now, if you look for the graph, it will be like this. I'll just show quantity supplied here and the price here. In case of quantity demand, it was downward sloping. It is going to be upward sloping, because here the relation is directly proportional. There it was inversely proportional. I'll just show you. Let's take 2 points here, this one and this one. Okay, so let's say whatever it is. I did not get it correct, but okay, let me mark it as, let's say 20 and 30. This is 0, and let's say 3, 4. So guys, at 20, you can see supply is 3. Means if market price is 20, I have a firm, I will be supplying 3 lots of something, right? So my supply is 3 now. But if the price is increased to 30, then I am willing to supply more, 4. Why? Because I am getting more money, and that means I'm more profitable. So the firms feel that when the price increase, they're more profitable, they'll produce more, they'll supply more. So here the relation is directly proportional. That is what price increase, the quantity supplied will be more. If price comes down, the firm stops supplying because it is going to be loss for them, right? Because they need to make a lot of investment, infrastructure, the employees and rent and other things are there. So they will wait for the price to go up. So if the price is high, supply more. If the price is low, supply will be less. And when the supply comes down, automatically after some point of time, there is a market mechanism, which I'm going to discuss. Automatically, the price will go up. Because when the supply comes down, in market, there is no supply, but people are willing to buy. There are some people who have more money and they're willing to pay more money, and automatically the demand will increase and the price will automatically move up. That is what the market mechanism, that is what the invisible hand. It is nobody is fixing the price. It is a market who's fixing the price. I'll discuss that along with equilibrium. I'll be discussing about equilibrium. So I hope this relation is clear. There is no point in talking about law of demand, law of supply like that. Guys, we are not kids, right? So what is the law of supply? From here, you can understand if the prices increases, the quantity supplied will increase. Ceteris paribus means other things being constant. We are not looking for other things. If other things are constant, this is a relation. In case of demand, if price increase, quantity demanded come down. If price decrease, quantity demanded increase. So this is what you just need to remember. What are the determinants? Almost we need to see from the firm's perspective now. Before we have seen from individual perspective. That's why we look for price. Here also we look for price because price is important for firms as well. There we look for income. There we look for the taste and preferences, right? But here we will look for taxes. We will look for charges, right? We will look for other aspects. Okay, so first and most important one we will look for is the price. If the price is high, no problem, they will supply more. The firms are willing to supply more because they are getting more profit. If the price is coming down, they will reduce the supply as it is not becoming profitable for them. So that is the first one. Second, cost of production. Guys, cost of production is the most important point that you need to understand. If the cost is high, what will happen? Will they produce more? No, they produce less. So what will happen? Supply will be less. Now, cost means what? It could be in terms of tax. It could be in terms of charges. It could be in terms of rent. It could be in terms of interest payment. It could be in terms of the salary, wages of employee. So each of these can be asked. Now, I'm just giving you cost of production. Now, cost increase, what will happen? Quantity supplied will come down. Now, what if this cost is reduced? You will increase the supply. Now, I've just generalized it by saying the cost of production. Now, guys, if you're getting a question which is asking you anything related to cost, suppose tax increase, what will happen? Tax increase means company's burden is increasing, cost of production is increasing. What will happen? They will reduce the supply. Salaries and wages are increasing. What will happen? They reduce the supply. The rent is increasing. What will happen? They will reduce the supply. The interest rate is increasing. What will happen? The cost is increasing. They will reduce the supply. So what you need to look for is any given parameter, whether it is going to affect the cost of production. If it is going to affect the cost of production, is it in favor or against? If it is in favor, okay, fine. If it is against, if it is going to increase the cost, they will reduce the supply. If it is reduce the cost, means interest rate is reduced. It is good news. What will happen? More supply. Okay. So with this, I think I've answered more questions now. Like, what is the impact on increasing wages? What is the impact on increasing interest rate? What is the impact on increasing taxes? What is the impact on increasing rent? All these have taken care with cost of production. Because what affects the company more is the cost of production. They'll always try to reduce the cost of production. All right. Now the third one, change in taxes. Okay. Anyway, that will come in this only. So you know what will happen, right? It is directly connected with cost. So if taxes increased, what will happen? Production will come down, supply will come down. So if taxes increased, supply will come down. Taxes decreased. When? Fiscal stimulus, various stimulus measures when the government take. Why government is doing that? To promote the growth, to promote more supply. Okay. Now, change in technology. Technology definitely affects supply. Okay, so that better technology is coming, more production, more supply will come. Okay, now I hope we have answered all the questions related to supply, because only thing that you need to look for when it comes to supply is actually cost of production. Any given parameter, you just need to check how it is going to affect the cost of production. Is it going to increase or decrease? The production is all related to the cost. So based on that, you can answer any question. I hope that is very, very clear. Now let's look into market equilibrium. Okay, so guys, I've told you there is demand and there is supply, and this demand supply, based on that, the price will be decided on the market. It is not that whatever I demand, I will get. I'm ready to buy at this particular price, but I may not get it. I need to find a supplier at that particular price. Same way, I am ready to sell at this particular price, but I may not get it. I have to get a person who have demand at the particular price. So in market, we need to find a equilibrium where the demand and supply match, or the price of the person who's demanding and the price of the person who's supplying, selling should match. That situation is what we are considering as market equilibrium. And the price is what we consider as equilibrium price. And the quantity which is bought and sold is what we consider as a quantity. Okay, the equilibrium quantity, sorry. So equilibrium price and quantity. So let's say this is the demand curve. I'll just write it as QD. And this is a supply curve which are having an upward slope, that is QS. What is where the demand supply match? This point. This is the equilibrium point. So what is this? This is the equilibrium price. And what is this? This is the equilibrium quantity. So on the x-axis, I can write QD and QS because that is the quantity demanded and supplied. And here it is the price. So this EP is the equilibrium price. EQ is the equilibrium quantity. What does that mean? At the price of EQ, EP, EQ quantities are bought and sold. So this is the price at which the buyer and seller agreed upon to buy and sell. So they meet and there will be a transaction. That is what market equilibrium. Okay. Now guys, what will happen if this price, let's say EP, let's see, the price is reduced. Okay, let's say the price is reduced. What will happen? When the price is reduced, what will happen from the side of suppliers? I've told you price is less. So supply will be less, but there is more demand in the market. Now supply is less, but more demand in the market, and this lead to shortage. So you can see demand is more than supply. When the price is reduced, as I've told you, when the price comes down, demand increase. When the price comes down, supply decrease, right? So now this lead to shortage. When the price comes down, that will lead to shortage. Why shortage? Because supplies are not ready, but people are willing to buy. So that lead to shortage. When there is a shortage, what will happen? There will be black marketing, and some people are willing to pay more. So since there is a shortage and some people are willing to pay more, automatically the price will start moving up and it will come to this equilibrium price again. I hope you understood the point. Same way, let's say if the price is increased to, let's say, P2, then what will happen? There, you are finding more supply because price is increased. And as a firm, I'm ready to supply more because I'm getting more profit. So I'll supply more. And initially, I'll be profitable. But what will happen is, since the price is more, you will not be able to find a buyer because the demand is not, people are not willing and able to buy at this price. So initially, though you will get profit, but over a period of time, the demand will come down. And then what will be there? There will be unsold goods. That means excess will be there. So if price decrease, there will be shortage. If price increase, there will be excess. Why? Because if price decrease, quantity demanded increase and quantity supplied decrease. So demand will be more than supply. If price increase, quantity demanded decrease, quantity supplied increase. So quantity supplied is more than quantity demanded. That means excess goods are available in the market. So excess good means unsold goods are there. Unsold goods means what will happen? Now they want to sell it at any cost. So automatically the price will come down. And that is when you start giving discounts. Take buy one, get one free like that. So discount means actually the price is coming down. So slowly the price will come down to equilibrium. So guys, my point is the price will always remain in equilibrium. And who maintain that? Is it the government? Is it you and me? No, it is a market. There is a market mechanism. This is a market mechanism based on demand supply. And this is what the so-called invisible hand, which is mentioned by Adam Smith in his book, Wealth of Nations. Okay, so that's all about demand supply, a very important concept, and I hope you understood it very well. And we will continue with this discussion. Guys, last year a question was asked, so take it very seriously. Though it looks very simple, but I hope you like the video. If you have watched video till now means you like the video. So give me a thumbs up. And if you have any doubts or questions, you can comment below and also subscribe the channel. Thank you guys. See you in the